Ladies and gentlemen, hello everybody, Dave Neal here. Welcome to Survivor Recap, Season 41, my first time recapping Survivor. If you're new to my channel, I'm a stand-up comedian. I actually recap the Bachelor franchise. Figured we would switch it up due to the global pandemic. I've spent the last year and a half watching every season of Survivor, so let's get right into it. Do me a favor, hit the follow button on Instagram at DNeals, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you like this content, more stand-up comedy and other clips, live streams available at patreon.com/Dave Neal. So how it works is I just take notes during the episode and I read them back to you. We're not going to go over every single photo of every single contestant, this or that. You already know that. This is your side sort of information here. So get out your books full of contestants and their bios and this and that, and we'll get right into it. Like I said, no edits, no jump cuts, just me, you. Leave a comment, let me know who you love, and let's get right into it. It's been almost a year and a half since the $2 million finale of last episode. Can you imagine it took them this long to get to? And I understand you couldn't film during the pandemic, but if you could film a show, you'd think it would be Survivor. But as we get into this season, I love that they're taking us behind the scenes. I love that they're showing us the fourth wall, that they're showing us all the production and crew that goes into it. And you realize probably not the best thing to be doing during a pandemic is filming this show. It's not just 7 people hanging out trying to make fire from flint. There's a huge production value. That's why they win all the Emmys, right? All right, so Season 41 starts. Jeff Probst begins by saying, "I've missed you." We've missed you too, Jeff. Every year we look each other in the eyes, Jeff and I, and we both feel a little bit older, but we're hanging in there. Jeff's never looked better. We do small tribes, no rice, and it's a short 26-day season. It's got to have something to do with the pandemic, trying to get this season off. Something to do with regulations. Who knows? But they're doing 26 days, so they're just kind of like pressurize all of the game of Survivor, and no time wasted. Love it. So they start by doing the behind the scenes, the crane shots, the drones. They show the GoPro on the helicopter. I love this. I'd watch a full documentary of just how they shoot the show. Really love seeing the big, enormous film crew and all the work that goes into it. All right, we introduce a random batch of teachers, pro athletes, doctors, students, pastors, the whole 9 yards. We have Shan, half Italian, half Jamaican pastor. So she gets high and eats pizza. We'd get along. All right, not too bad in my book. Like I said, there's going to be a ton of people. We'll get to everyone's story throughout the season, but we literally can't try to break down every single person here. All right, so they do the intros, the stories, who's a better Survivor fan. Jeff's like, "Hey, you in the back, tell me about you." And everyone's like, "Well, I've been watching since I was born." Well, my mom watched when I was in the womb. One thing after another. And it's like, for me, it's like, listen, I'm kind of a fraud. I watched season 1. Richard Hatch is from my hometown, Rhode Island, and then I really took off the next couple decades. I really did, and I just binged them this whole pandemic. I got so sick of Netflix, and I was like, But what's so funny is when you binge watch this show, you realize how far cinematography has come. They're shooting this in 120 frames per second, 4K, and they're shooting it beautifully. The original episodes look like a student film. There's like one guy with a steady cam kind of running around in that 4x3. The sides are cropped. I mean, it's horrible trying to watch those old episodes. The technology has been amazing. All right, so they do the first challenge on the barge. It's finding oars. They got to paddle up to a buoy. Winner gets the flint. Basic first challenge. The tribes are all a mess, though. Everyone's got 2 left feet. They can't find the paddles. One guy tries to climb up to Jeff Probst's viewing tower, and Jeff's like, "There's no paddles up here." He's like, "All right, just thought I'd ask." He's like looking under his shoe. Boy, Jeff has to treat these guys like he's a kindergarten teacher, right? He's going to just be like, "Come on, go look over there. Oh, maybe it's anchored down." He's got to it's like an Easter egg hunt. He's like, "Maybe you got to look under the tree." So anyway, one team never got off the barge. They never, and then the other team never unclipped their anchor. They're just pedaling. It looks like a cartoon where they're just pedaling nonstop and the boat's not going anywhere. Rough start, folks. All right, so the green team, we got the green, blue, and yellow, right? They all got names. UA, whatever their name is. The green team, they win flint and supplies. We got my immediate fan favorite so far is the cattle rancher. So the cattle rancher's dad dies 5 days before he goes out to do Survivor. Sorry, that's my immediate, fan. I want him to win for his dad. I just love a good dad story. I'm sure there'll be other people that catch my eye as we go along. So now we have 2 tribes that have to compete for flint. So they get back to their locations. They got to compete for Flint, they either can do a puzzle or they can do like a hard 4-hour challenge where they got to take seawater and fill it up in the buckets. Of course, both tribes choose the hard challenge for the seawater. Looks exhausting. Blue team, Yuvu, is that their name? They're looking for idols when they should be filling up the water. And it's like, I get it, but it's a 4-hour challenge. If they feel like they can look for an idol and also fill up the water, that's their prerogative. But if they get caught, of course, in which they did, it's going to put a target on their back. All right, speaking of targets on our backs, hit your target on top of the like button and subscribe if you have. If this video bombs, if this doesn't do well, we're not going to make any more. Not to hold you guys accountable here, but I don't know if the algorithm's going to approve of my Survivor recaps. But share it with your friends if you enjoy it, and we'll see if there is a demand for this moving forward. If you came here for picture-perfect editing, you got the wrong guy. We go on tangents, and we digress. That's what we do. Digression Dave right here. All right, so the yellow team, we have Tiffany, talks about her double mastectomy at 32. Her mom died of cancer, and she calls herself a previvor, which is someone who survived, but before she got sick. She's going to get sick. One of the first people to get this, it's kind of new technology. And so now we have another favorite, Tiffany. Absolutely. Good for her. Love people telling their story. There's something about Survivor where you get to hear people's stories about who they are, where they came from. In everyday life, we don't get to know people's backstories. We just see the bank teller. We see the person at the drive-thru. We just see these people. We don't know the depth and struggle and empowerment that they have through all the adversities they've faced in life. It's very special that we get to watch Survivor and get to hear their stories, especially after and during a global pandemic where people have struggled and fought so hard just to stay alive. And isn't that what the game of Survivor is all about? It's not about who surviving in the sense where, it's, if you've ever watched any other Survivor show, Alone or some of these other Survivor shows, it's like survivors are like staying at a 5-star resort for Survivor show purposes. It's about understanding the human condition and working with that and staying afloat. And we'll see who does that. Plus, it involves a ton of luck, that's for sure. They never talk about luck on this game. It involves a ton. Everyone's like, well, my strategy was, it's like, listen there, lady, you got lucky, okay? Everyone was fighting over someone else, and then you just were the last one standing. All right. Heart-wrenching stories. Both teams fill up their buckets of water in time to win supplies. It couldn't have been that hard of a challenge if both teams were able to do it and look for immunity idols, so who knows? A representative from each tribe, all 3 tribes, is boated to another island, and then they read a sign that says, follow this path to the summit, take the time to get to know each other, and then they have to decide individually if they will risk their vote. So if everyone decides to risk their vote, they all lose their vote. But if only one person decides to risk their vote and everyone plays it, and the other 2 play it safe, then the person who risks their vote gets an extra vote, and then, whatever. So it's one of those, what do they call it? Dead man switch? Is that what it's called? Where, if everyone decides the wrong thing, no one gets it. But if only one person, and of course, that's exactly what happens. The first Survivor Immunity Challenge, one man decides he thinks they should drop the guys in Survivor. So it's come on in instead of what were they saying before? I already forgot this. I thought I wrote this down here. But so initially what happened was when they initially got to the boat, Jeff was saying, he's a progressive guy. He asks, should we still say, come on, guys? That's what he normally says, come on, guys. That's his first thing he says, and he understands that guys is, traditionally it refers to men, although in modern terms, we've been saying guys as a sort of unisex or an all gender sort of, hey, guys, how are you? So he invites the cast in on the challenges, and he says, should I not say guys anymore? Every season there seems to be progressive discussions that come up, and everyone kind of looks around and says, yeah, that's fine. Say guys, we don't care. There was people have different sexual orientations. They said, all right, no big deal. Well, that was at the beginning. Now we come back to it, and someone was like, you know what? I thought about it. The whole guys thing. I understand not wanting to do it anymore. So they decide to move on from that. Which it's like I understand. In an effort to be inclusive to everybody, you don't want to call people out that don't relate to the term guys. I understand that. But also, I understand the people that go, There was nothing wrong with guys. No one thinks of guys as saying, "Hey, come on in, men." It's not men, it's guys, you know. So I can understand and empathize with both sides of that argument right there. Let me know what you guys think. I don't mean to make a big gender issue out of it. But anyway, so we get in on it. He decided to retire the come on in guys, and that's that's how the Survivor goes. Times change. Now we have two losing tribes. They do the challenge. I'm not going to recap every aspect of the challenge. It's very visual. It's like, all right, so and so tripped over a net. Oh, so and so fell into the sand, and so and so fell into the wood chopper or whatever the hell is. Two tribes lose. They go to tribal council and they forfeit their flint. They lose their flint at tribal council for losing. Lulu, the blue team, they're the ones who win the immunity, so they're good. The early tribal councils, look, folks have such little information about each other. They're 2 days into the Survivor, so they don't have much information about each other. They don't know, what to vote off of. It's like, oh, someone, they missed a puzzle piece. Maybe that's why they should go. You're kind of just like picking at straws here. Someone farted at camp. Let them go. Someone dreamt that they had an idol. Oh, you dreamt you had an idol. You got to go. It's like, the scales are very sensitive to who should stay and who should go now. They have a new rule at Tribal Council. You can do shot in the dark, which is a 1 in 6 shot of gaining immunity. But if you don't get it, you lose your vote. So if you're really desperate, you can do a 1 in 6 shot and hope that you get immunity. But if you don't, you lose your vote. That'll be strategic. They always introduce new games. It always makes me, a show like Survivor. This is pretty much the biggest game show in the history of the universe. It's the biggest one. Maybe Amazing Race is just as big, but either way, Survivor's a big show, right? They have to have a full team of people that sift through fan ideas. So like, well, what if you had a 1 in 6 shot? What if you had a immunity? I mean, do you remember before like immunity idols were popular? Before there was the, different, now they have the immunity, what is it? The immunity buster, what's it called? Where if someone has the immunity idol and someone else can have a thing that stomps it. I mean, they're just playing a board game in their bikinis. That's essentially what they're doing. So anyway, we get to the end of it. Abraham, first person voted out of Survivor 41, blindsided, and then the next tribal council, Sarah goes, the young medical consultant who pretty much cried the whole time. Hey, I get it. It's emotional. It kind of sucks. I feel like, it's easy to pick off the young ones. It's easy to pick off people that either might look like a threat down the road, but, like they say, the first half of the show, you still need a strong tribe. So you want to essentially try to pick off the weakest people physically so that you can have the people that can win the challenges and kind of do a little self-preservation. I don't know, folks. What do you guys think? Leave a comment. Let me know. Keep this on the short side. First Survivor recap. I feel like as the season goes on, if we continue to do this, let me know. Vote with your dollar. Let me know by subscribing, by commenting, by sharing with your friends. As the season goes on, I think what we're going to find out is, we'll get more into the in-depths of people's stories, who we're rooting for, who's conniving, who's got a good heart, all those different things. All right, folks, let me know what you guys think, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye now.